What's up, Nail Geeks, and welcome back to my fourth collab video this month. We have Polish Gamers Box opening back up for ordering, and we've got quite a few makers to check out for this one. There are many more, and if you're new to these parts, if you're new to what this collab is, Polish Gamers is a very nerdy group that yours truly thoroughly enjoys, and they are open for pre-order once a quarter. It's kind of like PPU in that there is a one single theme, and then all the makers kind of go off of that theme, whatever they're inspired by and all that. So for April, we have the theme tabletop games. So we got some super awesome nerdy stuff to check out. So without further ado, let's dive right in. I'm going to roll the dice with Chamaeleon nails. This is Taming Mars, described as a multi-chrome shifting base that shifts from red to orange to yellow to green, with scattered hollow and silver reflective glitters. This one's $13.50 with a cap of 100 bottles. We have a jelly-like formula here. It starts off on the almost flirting with being a sheer side, but it does build to full opacity on wide nails like myself at 3 coats. This is a bit of a chameleon, pun intended, that depending on the light source you are around is going to depend on how this one comes off. Indoor lighting and dull lighting situations, you're going to see a warm, chocolatey type of shift to it. It's going to go from this bronze looking appearance over to orange and gold, kind of like my macro shot there. I don't normally show my reflective shots on reflective glitter finishes just because I'm not the greatest at it, but I figured I'd throw it in here just so you all can see what it would look like at direct lighting, very bright lights, or just a direct light source onto the nail. That's when you're going to see that strong red shift. I'm going to suggest 3 coats, a glitter smoothing top coat, and a glossy top coat. And Hearts and Promises brings us Oops, I Did It Again. This is a dark silver hollow base loaded with Aqua Hex and pink chiffon hex glitters, as well as silver reflective glitter and Aurora shimmer. This one's $13 with a cap of 200. So this is another one I stated on my, I believe it's my HHC video for this month, that Hearts and Promises seems to be really going out of her comfort zone, and I really love it. This is another one that I thought was flirting with being a bit of a kitchen sink finish, but it just works brilliantly. It's very, very pretty. It starts off as a jelly sort of finish, but it plumps up really well between 2 to 3 coats. Because it's so packed full of special effect, I'm going to suggest going in for very thin coats and slowly building this one up. It has a ton of sparkle from this densely scattered linear hollow effect. It will have some texture, so you'll need a glitter smoothing top coat in addition to a glossy top coat. And Gin and Berries brings us Aqua Culture. This is a light blue curly base with aqua to purple to pink shifty shimmer and a mix of purple and violet metallic flakes. This one's $13 with a cap of 150 bottles. This is such a beautiful, springy, summery type color. It's vibrant, and I think it's going to be pretty universally flattering across skin tones. I thoroughly enjoyed how it popped against me. I'm going to suggest 3 coats as it does have a curly-like formula, but I like that plumping gel-like look, and I thought it gives that very well at that 3rd coat. Just finish with a good glossy top coat and you'll be good to go, as this had no texture or anything like that. And Lemming Lacquer has Crystal Magic. This is a violet jelly base with teal to blue to purple microflakes, lime to gold iridescent shreds, verdant green to radiant gold to shimmering copper flakes, finished with silver hollow micro sparks. That's quite a mouthful. This one's $13.25 with a cap of 150 bottles. This is another jelly-like formula. However, it's got a very strong, squishy feel on application. This one, you'll want to be very mindful of how you're building it up. Go in real thin because you will have over buildup if you go in normal to, really harsh on your brush strokes and loading up that brush. It is what I would consider bordering with a sheer, so it's not going to be so in your face in terms of that base color. It's just got this overall lighter, softer, delicate feel to it. You'll need to finish with a thin coat of glitter smoothing top coat because it's so full of chunky flakes, you'll have a bit of texture. And Luna Lacquer brings us That's Not described as a magenta base with turquoise and silver reflective glitters and blue, green, turquoise, purple, pink shifting flakes. This one's $12 with a cap of 100 bottles. That's Nada has a very metallic type feel in how it builds up. It almost behaved like a chrome in how it comes up to opacity. I think you're going to have full opacity at 2 coats, but I personally, with the wide load nail problem, went up to 3 coats and it gave me that nice plumping feel I always go for. I used a glitter smoothing top coat to smooth out the reflective glitters in this and a glossy top coat. It will dry down quite flat and thirsty because it's so packed full of glitters. Night Owl Lacquer has Loud Librarians. This is a dark olive green base filled with glowy large particle shimmer that shifts copper to gold to green. This one's 13 with no cap. I really liked this one and I was kind of shocked because it's not a color I would normally gravitate towards. I think it's because it's like a super, super far distant cousin to Jalapeno Face, which was one of my favorites from Night Owl. It's just very pretty. This is what I would consider like the warmer, more louder, earthy type of shift to it. Anyway, so Loud Librarians has a strong metallic feel, which is what we expect from multi-chromes, finished with 3 thin coats and a good glossy top coat, and it is so shimmery multi-chrome good. And Rogue Lacquer has Rails and Sails. This is described as a cloudy, crelly base with green to orange to pink and green glass flakes and small black and silver metallic flakes. This one's 13 with no cap. So of course, Rogue just owns it in the flaky game, and this is one of those interesting flakes you'll want to catch if you tend to collect Rogue's flaky filled polishes. This is so packed full of them. It's very, very pretty. It's almost like a marble stone. I'm going to suggest 2 coats. I personally went in for a thin coat, and then I did my icing method sort of on my second coat, i.e. I just went much thicker on the second coat, and I thought it was perfect in how it built up, plumped out, and self-leveled. You will need to finish with a glitter smoothing top coat and a glossy top coat, as this is, of course, a touch textured from the flakes. Last but not least is Zombie Claw. This is Zombie Dice, described as a neon red with hollow flakes and electric blue-green shimmer. Price is $13.50 and there's a cap of 100 bottles. I want to note that the official description is stating it's a neon red. To my eyes, at least on my monitors here, my video is being color accurate to what I'm seeing. I'm not quite seeing that eye-searing type of neon red that's, flirting with being a traffic cone, and then it kind of just skews across the screen with this warm type of glow. I don't really see that. I'm seeing a really vibrant, warm red, if that makes sense. This has a creamy, crelly, mostly cream type feel on application, so I'm going to suggest 3 light coats or 2 normal coats and a glossy top coat. And we're going to wrap this up with the Willet Topper segment. This is where I use a black swatch stick to demonstrate if polishes have layering capabilities. So lots and lots of jelly finishes, lots of special effects, so of course they work. Chamaeleon is perfect over black. I think you can do a lot with that one actually. Same with the Hearts and Promises. It's almost like a glitter topper over black. So just be mindful that the base has a charcoal-ish sort of lean to it. So it might tint heavily if you do light colors. Jen and Berries works great. It's got that strong shimmer factor. Lemming Lacquer also looks like a topper over black too, but again, be mindful of that very purple tinted base. Luna works, but I just think it's too opaque. I think you're going to kind of waste it if you try to layer it over pretty much any color. Night Owl is a multi-chrome, so of course it's going to work. It almost looks like a foil on its own, so gives you an idea of how large, particle, and pretty that multi-chrome pigment is. Rogue, same thing as the Hearts and Promises and Chamaeleon. It almost looks like it's its own topper, so it works beautifully. And then lastly, Zombie Claw does work. I think you can see a lot of the shimmer here, but it is very tinted. So I'm kind of on the fence about whether or not you should topper this one. So Polished Gamers is going to open up for pre-order starting April 15th, and the pre-order is going to run until April 20th. I will link you guys below to the website on where to purchase when the pre-order starts, and I'll also link you to the Facebook group for additional swatches, all that good stuff. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.